Hi, I'm Joan Cartan Hansen, and welcome to Science Trek, the web show. And joining me today to answer your questions about the Earth are Virginia Gillerman and Jeffrey Johnson. Thank you both for being here. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to your questions. Shyla would like to know, why is the Earth round?
Shyla, when the Earth formed, it was a hot glob of material, and gravity pulled it together in the form that was most convenient. It couldn't pull it together in the form of a cube because that would be unnatural for the gravitational field. It pulled it together in the shape of a sphere, a slightly distorted sphere, but for most purposes, a perfect sphere that is the easiest shape for gravity to pull an object into.
Hi, my name is Peter. I go to Anser Charter School, and my question is, how do earthquakes work?
Earthquakes are when rocks move past each other and they'll fracture, release energy by fracturing quickly, and Jeff can give us more details.
So earthquakes happen when rocks break. Now, rocks can break on very small scales. If you had, let's say, a rock that was the size of a refrigerator that all of a sudden broke, you would have a magnitude, let's say, 1 earthquake. Now imagine you have rock that extends for hundreds of miles that breaks all of a sudden. You would also have a very similar earthquake, but it would be much, much larger. In both cases, small and large, the Earth's rocks are breaking, and breaking fast.
Deborah would like to know, is the Earth the only planet with water?
It's not the only planet with water. It's the only one that we know of that has abundant water. For example, about 3/4 of our surface is covered with water. We have some evidence that on a planet like Mars there was water in the past, or there might be water that's bound up with the rocks or frozen carbon dioxide. But I don't think we know of any other planets with lots of liquid water on the surface like Earth has. But we're still looking. There's a lot of planets we just don't know that much about.
Yeah, one exception that I can think of, Jenna, is Europa, which is a moon of Jupiter, which does have plenty of water ice and maybe even an ocean beneath that water ice. Most of Mars' water is probably tied up right now in ice. It's not very usable for any sorts of life that may live there.
Hi, my name is Mia and I go to Anser Charter School. My question is, which part of the Earth is the most important to life?
I would say the surface of the Earth, and that includes the rocks that we stand on, the soil that's produced from those rocks, and the oceans and the atmosphere that we breathe. We essentially live at the junction of all of those very complex geochemical and geologic and geophysical systems. And it might be some of that diversity that has helped create life and created the delicate balance that we use in our daily lives.
Sam asks, where does the air come from to support life?
Sam, the oxygen in our air comes from photosynthetic processes. And most of the oxygen that we need as humans to survive on comes as a byproduct or pollution from plant matter. So oxygen originally came from water and carbon dioxide, which was spewed out by volcanoes over many, many eons, and plants, trees, blue-green algae, and other vegetation turned those raw materials into the oxygen that we need.
Hi, I'm Sabrina from Hillcrest Elementary. How are dinosaur fossils still underground?
Dinosaur fossils are still underground because they haven't been eroded or washed down from the mountaintops or wherever they're found yet. Fossils actually form underground. Back when the dinosaurs were still living and they would die, their bones would fall to the bottom of the ocean or the river bottom, wherever they were living. And over time, those bones would get covered with dirt, mud, sand, etc. And those sediments would lithify or turn into rock. As they do so, any water that might have, say, dissolved silica in it, i.e. quartz or agate, can percolate through those sediments interact with those bones and replace them with fossilizing material. So those fossils are actually formed underground. And until they are either found by a paleontologist or a science kid out for a nature hike or eroded off, then they will remain underground.
I'm Riley. I'm from Answer Charter School. How do the layers of the atmosphere all connect?
So how do the spheres of the Earth connect? There are a lot of sphere words when we discuss the Earth. There is the atmosphere, which comprises Earth's gases. There's the hydrosphere, which is the Earth's oceans. There is the cryosphere, which is the Earth's ice caps. Then beneath we have the lithosphere, which is the rocky or rigid portion of the Earth that comprises our tectonic plates. Below this we have the asthenosphere, which is the region of the Earth on top of which our tectonic plates float.
And under that you continue with the mantle and the core, which are other spherical shaped rocky or molten rock regions within the Earth. They just don't have the word sphere in them for some reason.
Allison would like to know, how does the Earth rotate?
Now the Earth rotates because it's always rotated. This is not a very satisfactory answer, but when the Earth was formed some 4.6 billion years ago, it had something we call angular momentum associated with it. That means a tendency to spin. Now, as all of the particles in our solar system accreted to form planets, it all sort of came closer to the sun and began to spin faster. Think of an ice skater with his or her arms extended outward. As those arms come in closer, the rotation or the angular momentum is conserved, but the spin becomes faster. And we are seeing the result of that initial rotation in today's Earth rotation. The Earth will continue to rotate for a long, long time unless it collides with some other bodies.
Lexi would like to know, do all planets have moons?
Lexi, no, not all planets have moons. Venus doesn't have any, Earth has one, and some planets like Jupiter and Saturn have many moons, so it just varies.
Betsy would like to know, why is the Earth not being sucked into the sun?
Betsy, the Earth is always falling towards the sun. Believe it or not, the sun's pull of gravity causes the Earth to move towards it all of the time. But I wouldn't lose any sleep over it, because at the same time, the Earth has something called inertia. It's moving it in a direction that is away from the sun. So even though the Earth is continuously falling towards the sun, it is moving around the sun, and ultimately it is orbiting in a circle around the sun.
I'm sorry, but we've run out of time. My thanks to Jeff and Virginia for answering questions today.
Thanks very much for having us.
Thank you, and thank you to the students who submitted some great questions.
My thanks also to the folks here at Boise State University's Earth Science Research Lab for hosting us. If you want to learn more about the Earth, check out the Earth area on the Science Trek website. You'll find facts, links, games, our Earth broadcast show, and lots more. And every week, check out my blog for the latest science news for kids, all at idahoptv.org. Thanks for joining us for Science Trek, the web show.